magic, our world is changing. There's less spirituality. I think being replaced more by digits and numbers.
And robots.
Yeah. Can magic fill a spiritual role, do you think, or does what niche does magic play now in our society? Because in some respects, you could think it's almost like a golden age of magic. You've got an incredible number of magicians, all of whom are exceptional. You know, Robert Guild is arguably the best ever. Does it fill anything more than an entertainment role, do you think? Does that make sense, Bob?
Yeah, yeah. Well, does anything fill anything?
Because there's less and less magic in the world now as we become
Yeah.
more and more aware of what causes lightning, what causes thunder, you know, that sort of stuff.
Well, also there's a duality in our society, at least in the whole world, actually. I don't feel it's good right now in the States either, you know. There's a duality. I'm good, he's bad. I'm right, he's wrong. He's different from me. I'm better, whatever. It's that kind of duality. We don't need duality. We're all really the same. You know, I think when people, I don't know, maybe it's a sidebar, theater in Grecian times meant the listening place where people went to hear the truth. Because anybody who protested were being like killed or jailed. But you could go hear those idiots in the theater who actually spouted the truth, those fools, those clowns. They would be telling the truth, making jokes about the politics and the politicians, but it was a place where you could go and hear the truth, and that became known as theater. And the value of magic or any art form is really self-expression. I feel that if you do the best that's in you, that's spiritual. What else? What more is there? I can't do better than my best. I can keep trying to be the best or do the best I can. But to do the best you can, there's no room for duality. There's only trying to be better. And what happens is you help other people, because by helping them, you help yourself. When I give these workshops for magicians, yeah, they're getting a lot of stuff from me because I've had a lot of experience. And I think the intuitive side of me helps figure out how I can help them. But I'm also learning from them. When I get a new problem, a new something, the magician, what is it I can help him with? What is it I can do? How do I find that? And how do I reveal it to him, or reveal him to himself? So I'm still learning.
What's some of the stuff you cover in your course? Like what makes up the curriculum?
Well, we start off with yoga because it could be any exercise, but I prefer yoga. For me, I'm at my age anyway. But I always did because it gets people up in the morning. The energy of life is all about breathing. Oxygen. If we don't have oxygen, we're dead. If we don't breathe, we can't talk. And people don't know how to talk. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to breathe. You do yoga in the morning, it's all about breathing, stretching. And you start that off, and the guys that came, magicians that came, 8 o'clock in the morning, we do yoga, and said, oh, God, I got to get up like this, oh, man. Because they're used to going to bed late. But at the end of the night, which usually was 11 o'clock, they'd say, wow, how come I have so much energy? Yoga. We did it in the morning. I learned it in shows. that if I didn't do that exercise in the morning, I had a very hard time at night. And if I did the yoga in the morning, I soared through it, the most physical show. Interesting. Wow, what a lesson that was. So, um, so the next thing we do after breakfast is speaking because they've just had all the oxygen exercises. So we do exercises to help your voice be clearer, to help your voice be deeper. We work on the lips, tongue, and jaw. Exercises for that to make you more articulate, to make you more careful with your words. And then we do all kinds of exercises because speech is pitch, rate, and volume. That's all there is. How high, how low, how fast, how slow, how loud, how soft, whatever. To have, like English people have a great variation in pitch, rate, and volume. Americans don't. And so many magicians, they've never had speech. You know, they don't know the tricks. You speak up, you speak down. I speak down. I speak up. Hear the difference? I speak down. I speak up. I speak up. I speak down. I speak up. I speak up. Just the difference of that allows you to be able to hear me. How do I know you're not wearing hearing aids? How do I know you're not 50 feet back? I have to have the energy to reach you back there. Then how do I structure my speech? How do I write a speech? People write very well, but sometimes they try to speak what they write. That doesn't work. When you write long sentences, descriptive phrases. When you speak, they're short and clipped, get to the point. And there's a difference. You have to understand all those things. So there's all kinds of exercises for speech. People use their hands a lot. This means nothing. Okay, I want you to do one gesture that means a lot to you when I say this speech. It has to mean something to you. I just did it. And, you know, if I did this and I said it means something to me, that would mean nothing. So if I want to communicate, I have to know how to use my hands, how to use my body. People are very stiff. They move stiffly. No, I want to be able to move. Worked with a guy who was a robot. He worked at his table like this, worked like that, and you saw every move he made at the table. I couldn't believe it. I said, no, the head leads the body. The head looks over there and then it moves. And I move over here and now I move. Not this. That's a robot. I saw this.
Yeah, we'll stop here. So is there one, do you have one magical success that sticks out for you? Something where you helped the magician and he came back afterwards and said, you know, what you taught me was, you know.
I had a lot of those. I worked with Copperfield before he ever did a special, and I worked with him last year again. I taught him to dance. I taught him to use a gimmick. I enjoyed working with him. You know, he's very articulate and very detail-oriented. But, a year ago, I was at the Magic Castle in Los Angeles, and there was a young man there, Glenn Farrington. Very familiar face, name, but I didn't remember why I knew him. Did a very nice show in the close-up room, and afterwards we talked. He said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I said, "Well, you're very familiar, but no, I don't remember." He was probably about 47. Excuse me. He said, "I was 15 years old. I was in a magic store in Washington, Al's place, downstairs with about 4 other kids learning magic. You came in, you were there with a show, you said to say hello to Al. He brought you downstairs, you talked to us kids for 45 minutes, and you changed my life. I went, I changed your life. He said, yeah. How did I do that? He said, well, you told me that when I was doing a magic and when I talked to somebody, I should face them. I went, that's it? He said, yeah, isn't that great? I went, yeah, if you say so. And then I went home and I said, okay, backstory. 15 years old, he probably has done some tricks for people and he's gotten a nice attention. So he's down there learning, but he's shy, so he's a little askance here and he grabs a look at you. Now, somebody tells him, if I talk to you, I have to face you. Now it's a little easier to talk to you. And maybe I realize I'm getting a better reaction and I get this confidence. And now here he is, how many years later at the Magic Castle performing. I went, okay. And this robot thing I told you about came out of that moment because this man was doing this table act with money, credit cards, bills. It was really good. And we worked on Skype, and then I saw him once to work with him. But he would do this thing here, and turn back, and I went, he doesn't understand how the body moves. When you turn, you look at somebody, and then you turn, like I was just mentioning, and I turn to face you. I said, no, Jim, look over there first and then go over there. And the interesting thing was, I saw everything he was trying to get away with when he was the robot. But when he was a human being, I didn't see it. And I knew where it was happening and when, and I didn't see it. I said, I can't believe the difference. It was just people understanding how they move, people understanding left to right. For a filmmaker, left to right means the heroes come in here and dressed in white with white horses, and the villains come in from here. So which side of the stage do you enter from? Well, if you're a regular guy, you'd come in from this side. If you're kind of a villain and a bizarre magician, maybe that side. And women used to wear their big picture hats like this because the expressive side of the face, the left side, showed. And it's the side you look at last, right to left. So when magicians throw their birds in the air to make them disappear, they're usually throwing it this way. And there's only one magician I know, Johnny Thompson, who throws it this way. I asked him, are you left-handed? He said, no, I'm right-handed. I said, now how come you throw left to right instead of right to left? He said, because it looks better. I went, good for you, good for you. See, there's all these little subtle things. And if I put somebody over here, they're the star and I'm the hero. If I put them over here, I'm the star and that person's the hero. So which side should I put them on? Well, what is it I want? What is it I want to show? What is it I want the audience to read from that perception, So, all of these things add up to being a better performer. Blocking, some people hide. They hide behind their hands when they do the magic. They hide behind their table. They hide by moving around a lot, whatever.
Anybody else who's high profile who you've helped?
Yeah, your brother. Your brother, Chris, he was always different. He always found a unique way to present himself, sort of an offbeat way. You could always tell if it was Chris, if you didn't know him, if you knew that definition. Gee, I like that guy. I didn't expect much out of him, but he really amazed me. He did something that touched you personally. He did something that ticks your imagination or your sense of humor, because he's just got a different slant on it. He's found his style, and he uses how he feels about things. He projects that into his magic. So if you can personalize what it is you do, you're going to be a better communicator, better storyteller, more unique, you know.
And what would Chris's brand be? What would the elevator pitch be for Chris? Somebody said, you're going from the first floor to the ninth floor. I met this great magician, Chris Pillsworth. What's he about?
He's offbeat. I mean, that's not a very exciting phrase, but I never quite know what he's going to do, which is not the same as with other magicians. They project what they're going to do, or they clue you in, and they kill your sense of being fooled. But with him, you never know. There's something to the left, a little off balance. It's like Alfred Drake was an actor in the 40s and 50s, musical comedy. Great voice, but he always leaned over to the side like this. He was always off balance, and you never forgot him. When I worked with Carol Channing, I looked at her and I characterized her. If I had to draw her on a piece of paper, here's a sheet of paper, I would draw a diagonal line. That would be Carol Channing, because she was always moving forward. Hello, everybody. How are you? Right? She was here. She was leaning out over the audience, and the truth was, she was blind. She couldn't see any further than this. So her thing was she was trying to see you. But what from your point of view, you didn't know that. From your point of view, it was that she's really talking to you. And you got this feeling that I'm going to be there for her. She may look at me. Hello, everybody. How are you? It was this being offbeat. Well, Chris is offbeat. His everything kind of leads you off on an angle. You always feel a little off balance with him. You don't know what's going to happen. And that's not the trick. It's his style. Yeah.
I'm going to change direction a little bit.
Sure.
There's a book out now written by a guy named Tim Ferriss. It's called Tribe of Mentors.
Private what?
Tribe of Mentors.
Tribe of Mentors.
So
Okay.
what he has done is he decided he was going to interview all sorts of people who he found very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And over the course of 200 or 300 interviews, he ends up condensing his questions down to 6 or 7 key ones.
Oh.
And one of the ones he always asks them is, how has failure shaped you, or how has a past failure contributed to a future success?
For me?
Yes.
Well,
Given that failure is a pretty strong word.
Well, because I never, as I said before earlier, I never thought of failure as failure. I thought it was something to be explored, and because failure really means discovery. If you don't get depressed and I'm no good and I can't do it and all of that, I see that in so many people, not just magicians. I see it in actors. Little Japanese boy, wonderful dancer, one of the best dancers in New York City. This is some time ago when I was really doing Broadway. And I saw him. I said, "You're going to that audition tomorrow?" He said, "No, it's just for cocks, Caucasians." He said, "Oh, why didn't you go anyway?" He said, "Well, didn't you hear?" I said, "No, don't go there." I said, look, you're not thinking. You're one of the best dancers in New York. When you go to an audition, they don't type you out right away. You're Japanese, get out of here. No, they let you dance first. Then they type you out. That's always been the history. I said, so you are so good, maybe you'll be the token Japanese. If not, that choreographer is going to remember you because you are so good. He may see you at another audition and not remember where he saw you at an audition in a show. You have a better chance then. Plus, you're at this audition today and you see how he works. So now you'll be one step ahead when you audition for him to get the job that you're right for. Plus, the producer has 3 shows on Broadway. He may need somebody for a replacement. Somebody may be let go. Somebody may have dropped out and done something else. You're a perfect. Now look, you've set all these possibilities why you might get hired or why it might up the possibilities of you getting hired the next time. Why don't you just go and take the audition and have fun? And you'll see how this guy works, how he functions, and you'll be better prepared the next time. Instead of saying, instead of getting angry, what can you do about it? How can it help you? So every time something happened to me, I made a discovery, I go to examine it and try to solve the problem. I went to auditions, and dancers and singers at the time, this is like 1960, were separate. 8 dancers, 8 singers. Then all of a sudden, and the first Broadway show I got, 1960, Tenderloin, about a minister who was trying to fix the Tenderloin, the Times Square section in the 1800s on Broadway in New York. So right in the middle of the audition, a big jump, grand jeté, the choreographer says, "Thank you." And I landed, and I really got pissed off because I said, he could have waited till I landed. So I thought, I got angry. I said, I know I can do his stuff. There's 300 guys here, and he only wants 8. He's eliminating people by doing all this other stuff. So I stayed in the wings and learned all the steps that he had to teach. The next day was an open call, which means non-union. The next day I went. I wore torn jeans. I didn't shave, hoping he wouldn't recognize me. Well, he'd never seen me before. And there were only 25 guys. Most of them said, well, they'll hire somebody from the union. I was the only one he kept. I knew all the steps. Then he said, come back in an hour, sing. So I came back. Okay. I was one of the people taken. Signed a contract. Well, that week there was an 11-day strike on Broadway. Couldn't come in and sign. I called up when it was over. I said, can I come in and sign? Who are you? Bob Fitch. I was one of the 8. Oh, sorry, Bob. Oh, well, hold on a minute. The production stage manager comes in. He said, oh, Bob, I'm sorry. The guy demonstrating was going to be hired too. He's an assistant to the choreographer. And we hired one too many. So we went down the list and I went, yeah, sure. So, okay, what can I do? What can I do? I'm going to send a letter to the choreographer. Just send him my picture and resume. Thanks for the audition. I'm alternate now. And next time you have an audition, please remember me here, blah, blah, blah. So then I went to the dancer's bar, and I bumped into one of the guys who was going to be hired. And he said, I'll see you next week, next Monday. I said, no, you won't. I said, why not? I told him the story. Okay. They pushed the audition from Friday forward to Monday. Tuesday, I got a call. You want to be in this show still? I said, are you kidding me? So I went down there. I asked the stage manager, what happened? He said, keep your mouth shut. Okay, what happened is I'd sent this letter to the choreographer, and he said, hey, I got this letter from this kid, Fitch. He's not here. What happened? Well, we had one too many, and well, what happened to the other guy? Well, he's in an industrial show in Washington State, and we don't know how to find him. There's no cell phones back then. Well, get this kid here. He called me on the phone. I got the job. Now, there's a 3-day probationary period. 3 days, they can let me go. If they don't like me, pay me for that. 4 days, they got to pay me 2 weeks. I come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, this other kid that they couldn't find came in. Now they're going to pay him 2 weeks, they're going to pay me 2 weeks. I got the job. He lost it. Figured out the problem. I lucked out in all the other sequences. If you don't do something, nothing happens. And that's the story of my career. Finding the answers to one problem after another, after one mistake. Suddenly there were not 8 singers and 8 dancers. There were 8 dancers who sang because they were saving money on 8 people, producers. I hated my mouth. I had fangs. I talked like this with my mouth closed. And I thought, oh God, they'll never hire me. So I went to a singer's call. I want to see what it's like. I didn't sing. They called my name. It went on to the next person. Holy God, 80%. I could compete with 80%. They were tone deaf, or they had no rhythm. They didn't know how to find their light when they walked down stage. They didn't know how to act their songs. I went, oh my God, I can compete with 80%. The other 20%, great voices. Half of them didn't act their words, couldn't find their light. Good voices. They like to hear themselves sing. Yes, I have a wonderful voice. No communication. The other 10%, I couldn't touch them. So stay away from them. Go to an audition, stand with the short people. Wear light clothes, they're wearing dark, stand with them. Those guys are really good, don't stand with them. Elimination. Then I found out that what I did, my specialty, a little eccentric dance, instead of being in the wings to warm up, I'd stand by the curtain on the stage and warm up there doing these funny little tricks. Several shows I got, the choreographer would say about 2 weeks into the show, he'd say, hey, I saw you doing some crazy stuff there. I could use some of that here. Show me some of that. I didn't get hired for the audition. I got hired for the warm-up. It was like thinking ahead, going to a room, and there's 3 guys, and not a stage, but a room. And they're writing down in index cards what the last guy did. And they said, sing. And I wanted to wait until he looked at me while they're writing about somebody else. And I waited. I said, sing. Well, I just lost that job. That was failure. I said, okay, problem. What can I do to wait until they watch me, but not have them yell at me? A magic trick. So I had my match. I went to the pianist. I said, don't give me 8 bars or 4 bars. Just give me my bell tone. Ding! I could while away, whatever. And so they're at the 3 of them at the table, they're writing. And I see the guy's just about to look up. I strike the match. And he looks at me and he said, he sees the match. He knocks the other 2 guys. Now they're all looking at me. And I to the pianist, and I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers. And the match turned into a flower. And they go, oh, I got him. And I did some other tricks with that. At the end, tossed a hat around my body, caught it, and boom, I got the job. And every failure, I tried to figure out what the problem was and how do I fix it the next time. So I learned from all those situations. And then when I started directing shows and auditioning people, I basically could help them with their audition, you know. Anyway, that's what I think of failure. It's discovery.
Well, I'm almost done, unless Chris has other stuff to add. But for the most part, you seem to be a pretty happy, satisfied individual. Are you?
1999. Oh, she's going to kill me if I tell you this. Oh, what the hell. Only one life to live. I was working in New York, and my wife calls me on the phone. She says, Bob, I gave you the best years of my life. What are you going to do for me? Oh, wake up call. Oh, God. I said, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, all the kids are grown up. They got their own families. You're there doing your writing. I'm here doing work. Yeah, maybe we should do some things together while we still have time. I mean, we are getting older. So, okay, I quit. No more jobs in New York. I'll come up there with you. And that's when I said I cannot sit on my butt and watch television. And she came up with the idea about doing workshops. You always work with people. Why don't you work with a group of people and do it for a week instead of 3 hours? Huh. So I put together a syllabus, and so that's where we're at. And she's got so many things going on for her over there. Creating a museum, creating an art gallery, and trying to help kids when they needed the help, you know. So yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We yell and scream at each other and laugh and be silly.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Any closing words or anything?
Yeah, if there's any, I mean, the only other thing I was wondering was who do you, I mean, who in Magic right now do you think is really doing it well? I don't know if that's too specific or.
Well, there's a lot of people doing it well. There's somebody I saw recently, Vitali, Vitaly, and he had a show in New York. In fact, the same place Penn and Teller had their show off Broadway. And he's very artistic. Everything he did is kind of an expression of, I mean, like almost breathing out. It's very, sometimes it's like watching a painting. What he does is with music, and everything is kind of surreal. And not in a scary way, but in a very pretty way, you know. Draws a leaf flower on a pad, runs his hand over it, becomes green, runs his hand over it again, and the leaf becomes real, or a bunch of leaves. You know, simple things like that, but unreal things, you know. You don't even think of it as magic. You think of it as seeing art happening right in front of your eyes.
I'm not interested in doing something that's traditional approach to magic where it's like, okay, this is how the trick is done, or
No.
I'm more interested in the philosophy of it. If there was, if transportation and timing wasn't an issue, who would you like to talk to about the craft of magic? Is there somebody you would like to, if you had a chance to interview somebody, who would it be?
I'd like to go back in time and talk to some of the old guys. Now, they don't have the technology we have today, but their problems were kind of insurmountable, you know, how they handled their problems, what their philosophies were. There are some old performers I remember, I can't think, oh dear God, who have philosophies. Guys have come up to me and said, I can't talk to the young guys because they don't want to hear about theater techniques. They want to hear about creating beauty, creating an emotional reactions. They just want to do tricks. Or they don't, they want to do 10 tricks, which is boring. But if I tie them together with a theme, a through line, those tricks will just go by so quickly in an audience's mind, and they don't understand that. They don't understand the psychology of it, you know. There's a lot of old performers that I can't think of right now, really, that really have definite ideas, you know, about it.
That's it for me.
Okay. Well, I wish it on everybody, not to give up, to follow your dream. And I used to say to my kids when they said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, well, do anything. Well, that may not be what I want to do. I said, no, you don't understand. The point is, if you get out there and do something, then you bump into other people with other ideas. And if you like something better, you follow that. And ultimately, you'll follow the path, and no matter where you started, you're going to end up where you belong. You're going to find yourself because you've worked at trying to find out who you are. I worked with one story, I told Chris about it, worked with this 62-year-old. It was a magic club. He said, would you critique me? I said, well, no, this is a lecture, it's not a workshop, you know. But it was a club, so they were all in it together. And they said, yeah, go ahead. So he got up and he did this ambitious card, which is you put a card, you choose a card, you put it in the middle, and it comes to the top. And it does that several different ways. Sign the card, put it in the middle, comes to the top. Okay. He did it 7 versions, a lot of versions. And very good. It was technically wonderful. And I asked the group, I said, say, so what did you think? And they said, yeah, it's really good. He really fooled us. He said, this technique is great. I said, yeah, what else? Nothing. So I said to the guy, I said, how did you feel? He said, I got away with it. It was good, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, it was very good. You're technically very skilled. Anything else? No. Okay, who are you performing for? He said, well, everybody. I said, no, you weren't. You're performing for your hands. You didn't even look at this man, and much less the group. It was just for you, and you started to slump. I said, wait. See, you know something and you don't know you know it. You asked me to critique you, because you must know there was something more that you could do. And I've just started telling you, and you're going to fold up on me instead of wanting to learn what this is, what possibly could help you. So, how old are you? 62. When did you learn this trick? 18. 44 years. You did this for 44 years. Were you ever curious about where this trick started? Who invented it? No. 44 years and you never got curious. Okay. This was a trick that fooled Houdini. Young Di Vernon was 22 years old, and Houdini had a big ego. You can't fool me. I know magic. And this 22-year-old kid fooled him. What do you think he did? Okay, kid, show it to my wife over here. Fooled him again. Yeah, you'll be pretty good someday, son. Why don't you show it to my friends over here? I said, how do you think he felt? Fooled him 7 times. You think his jaw is getting tight? Teeth are together, his muscles on his neck, his face red, fists clenched. You think that's what he's going through because he can't be fooled? Tell that story. What? Tell the story. Improvise. Come on. And at the end, he said, 7 times Houdini clenched his fist, stomped over to the guy, grabbed his deck, gave him a dirty look, and stomped off. And all the guys stood up, gave him an ovation. And I said, sit down. So, what do you think now? I said, it's not the same man. I said, what do you think? He said, tears were coming down his face, and he said, you've changed my life. I said, but you asked me to do it. You were ready for your life to be changed. All I did was open a little door and the light bulb went off. And you did something you've never done before. So what did you learn today? No. Not You learned that you're a born storyteller. You amazed, you enchanted these guys with that same stupid trick. 7 times, I'm bored, I'm going to fall asleep. But I wasn't bored when you told the story. You're a born storyteller. Now, every trick you like to perform has to have some kind of personal connection, story, whatever, with it. The tricks, other tricks, forget about them. But it took you 44 years to find out who you really were. And that's what acting, the arts help people do. So, I wish it on you, laddie.
That's perfect. Okay, so what we'll do is